Atma, Atma yadi syat sukha dukha hetu kim anyatas tatra nija svabhava nahi atmano anyad yadi tan mrisha syat krudyeta kasman na sukham na dukkham. If the soul himself were the cause of happiness and distress, then we could not blame others, since happiness and distress would be simply the nature of the soul. According to this theory, nothing except the soul actually exists. And if we were to perceive something besides the soul, that would be illusion. Therefore, since happiness and distress do not actually exist in this concept, why become angry at oneself or others? Purport. Because a dead body does not feel pleasure or pain. Our happiness and distress are due to our own consciousness, which is the nature of the soul. It is not, however, the original function of the soul to enjoy material happiness and suffer material distress. These are produced by ignorant material affection and enmity based on false ego. Our involvement in sense gratification drags our consciousness into the material body, where it is shocked by the inevitable bodily pains and problems. On the spiritual platform, there is neither material happiness nor distress, because there the living consciousness is fully engaged without personal desire in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. This is the actual position of happiness, aloof from false bodily identification, rather than uselessly becoming enraged with others. For one's own foolishness, one should take to self realization and solve the problems of life. Super dose of Krishna consciousness, real essence. That's the what we that should be only our goal. That when we are in the Krishna consciousness, when we are acting as a servant of Krishna, then there is nothing to think about. Whatever Krishna wants, I will do. And happiness in Krishna's company. Krishna is giving directions. And Krishna is also giving his presence to us through his holy name. And that's why it's such a powerful method to come to this consciousness. We shouldn't think, oh, this is all utopia. It will take a long time to to become pure devotee. Prabhupada said, one moment. He said, you can, if you want. I don't want all this illusory happiness and distress. I want to, you must cry to Krishna that why I'm like a jadam thinking of, I'm identifying with gross dead matter. Why? Why cannot I experience you? Instead, I'm experiencing material body, pains, pleasures, mental pleasures, pain. I am like a inert matter. Why I'm identifying with inert matter? Please, Krishna, have mercy on me. Why can't I experience you instead? And then we have beautiful process. We have a guru. We just have to pray to the guru and help, ask him for help. Please lift my consciousness from dead matter to living force. Why do we want to identify with inert matter, right? That's what the body is, and everything around this world, we're not seeing Krishna. We're seeing only matter. And that must be a this thing of deep concern for us. Why? I'm like a fool, I'm identifying with dead matter. Why can't I be intelligent and identify with my consciousness and Krishna, who is actually Krishna is everywhere? And instead of experiencing him, we're experiencing matter. So that must be the concern. So the soul will always be happy if we can be with Krishna, with reality, with consciousness, with living force. How can we be happy with dead matter? So that's why, and our false ego, only because of false ego, we are made to be so foolish. We should be distressed about our foolishness. Why? I'm just thinking I'm this inert body, and I'm thinking others also as their inert bodies, and then and their minds. Actually, a self-realized soul will not be affected at all by what people say. He will just see that he'll just love them. That's all. No problem. You say whatever you want. I still love you. Because the soul, you are the soul, and the soul is beautiful. and foolishly is identifying with the false ego and thinking I'm this, that, and I have to be respected and honored, and imagining also that people are not respecting me enough, all sorts of things. And then because of that wrong identity, but we cannot stop other people's wrong identification because it's their, I mean, they have to decide. We can just tell them, inspire them, whatever, but ultimately it's up to them. We cannot force anybody, but we can do it on ourselves, right? We can tell ourselves, why you're foolishly thinking you're this body, your dead body, this bones, bag of bones and mucus and all this pus, and this is you. And for that sake, you have to sit and worry and lament and be afraid and worry. I mean, all these things. And the minute we, then we have to be desperate. No, Krishna, I want to experience living force, not dead matter. And then you have the only way we can do that is only by taking shelter of Guru. That is the final spot because it's an eternal relationship forever. Imagine what a great relationship, permanently. And through, he is the gateway to all happiness. Without the Guru, we are nothing. So, just very simple. And the maximum mercy comes only from Guru because he is the starting point. If we bypass him and go somewhere else or directly to Krishna and all that, um, we'll only get some amount. We won't get the full mercy. And we'll struggle and struggle and struggle. But the easiest process is just humble ourselves and say, Gurudev, you're everything. I'm just, please help me. And that's it. Krishna is so happy. That's all he wants, nothing else. And all the rituals we saw in the previous verse, every ritual that we are supposed to do, I mean, like, charity or yajnas or pujas, everything is simply to come to the point of meditating on the Lord. So that is, I mean, that is where we start from. In Krishna consciousness, we start from where other processes leave. We're supposed to just think about Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. That's all we're supposed to do. So just see how what an elevated process it is. It is just like on the threshold of liberation. Until so that's why we should just embrace it with all our consciousness. This process itself, Hare Krishna mantra, it's Krishna himself, this living force. And Lord Chaitanya is Chaitana, full consciousness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the holy name is actually living force. It is not ordinary dead sound. I mean, material sound is also just a dead thing. It doesn't last. The sound just disappears. But spiritual sound, it exists. That's why in a place where, like a temple, where people are constantly chanting Krishna's names, it becomes very holy. Those sound vibrations are still there. That spirituality is there. Whereas whatever, I mean, you have a rock concert and all, it was whole night you were singing, it's all gone. Next day, that place is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. But Krishna's names make it so potent that eternally that sound remains because it's Krishna. And so we must want to experience that living force. So then that is only happiness. Krishna is only happiness, no misery at all. And then because of identifying with dead matter, we have to experience material happiness. Okay, you might think, oh, very nice. And it's wonderful to experience material happiness. First of all, it's temporary. And the secondly, if you have happiness, then be ready to suffer also. Because if that is taken away or reduced, or the opposite of it happens, finished. We are in deep distress. So the roller coaster ride is not nice. We want to be always flying in the air, flying in the sky. That is with Krishna. This is the actual position of happiness, aloof from false bodily identification. rather than uselessly becoming enraged with others for one's own foolishness. One should take to self-realization and solve the problems of life. So once we are determined that this is what I'm going to do, we'll never think about other people, what they're doing to us. Oh, why did they harm us? They spoke like this about me and to me and against me and all these things, or disturb me, or they, whatever it is, whatever complaints we have, it's all, I mean, that maybe they did it, but that should not be the cause of our happiness or distress. Or they praised us too much, then we feel, oh, lifted, top of the world, I'm the greatest. Anybody, one word can make us go high up in the sky, and another word can make it come down. So, what is all that? That is all just foolishness based on false ego. That doesn't, I mean, if that happiness and distress are so very fragile. On the other hand, when we are the servant of Krishna, then Krishna is the experience, the love that exists between the Atma and the Paramatma is the only source of happiness for the soul and all activities therein. With Krishna, just imagine if Krishna is with us, then there is no cause for any unhappiness, fear, nothing. And all the time he is ready to direct us. Only thing is we have to become humble. And for that also we have to cry to the Guru, please, Gurudev, I'm a nonsense. And, I don't know why I was born here, that's so total nonsense to take this material body and try to squeeze out maximum happiness from our body and minds. It's utter foolishness. That's what it is. Okay, then. So this Avanti Brahmana has really realized completely. He has just given up. Imagine what an attached person he was. And from there, by Krishna's mercy, how he was able to completely come out of it. Graha nimittam sukha dukha yoschet kim atmano ajasya janasya te vai grahair grahasyaiva vadanti pidam krudhyeta kasmai purushastatonya. And if we examine the hypothesis that the planets are the immediate cause of suffering and happiness, then also where is the relationship with the soul who is eternal? After all, the effect of the planet applies only to things that have taken birth. Expert astrologers have moreover explained how the planets are only causing pain to each other. And therefore, since the living entity is distinct from these planets and from the material body, against whom should he vent his anger? So here he is talking about the heavenly planets, or the devatas. Planets are the immediate cause of suffering and happiness. Right? So people who are believe that all the time, every day they will see daily astrologer predictions, and then all the time, oh, what is it now? This month, that month, how many years? And then they are so worried about that. But you know, then you can't help it. Sometimes planets are good, and sometimes they're not, and they are the cause of the immediate cause of suffering and happiness. Then also, where is the relationship with the soul who is eternal? Soul cannot be touched by all this heavenly I mean, all these grihas. The planets can do nothing to the soul. And effect of the planets applies only to things that have taken birth. That is the body. So I am different from the body. So that's why when you become a devotee, Prabhupada said, all these things just fly away. When you clap your hands and do Sankirtan in front of Krishna, all your lines on the hand will change. Because that's what it is. When you sing Sankirtan, you're identifying with your soul. I'm a servant of the soul. Oh, Krishna, engage me in your service, engage me in your service. And so all that misery due to bodily identification gets reduced. All the sins go away. Sin is what? Just identifying with the body. Because of bodily identification, only we do things which are not good, which are not anything. Pious is something which is taking us towards self realization. And any activity which is taking us towards degradation and more identification with matter is sin. So when we chant Hare Krishna mantra and we are identifying ourselves more with the soul, then naturally all the sins or the misidentification with the body gets reduced. And expert astrologers have moreover explained how the planets are only causing pain to each other. Therefore, since the living entity is distinct from these planets and from the material body, against whom should he vent his anger? I only our pig-headedness, stubbornness to identify with the body and soul is the only cause of our suffering. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says that apart from our own uncontrolled mind, there is no enemy at all in this world. Because the minute we are not identifying with the body or the mind, especially, then we cannot experience any unhappiness. And then, of course, if we are thinking about Krishna, then complete happiness. And this whole process of life is only to take us to this point of coming to this point of realization that I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Everything else, that is why it's just it doesn't matter, because it's simply a treatment we are getting. It's not reality. It is simply a treatment. Krishna is giving us all kinds of experiences so that finally we realize, oh God, I tried in many ways through this body to be happy in this material world, and I didn't succeed. Finally comes, why? Why don't I take to the reality? What is wrong? Except that the only thing is the false ego is stopping us. How can you surrender to Krishna? You also have to enjoy. The mind will come up with those proposals, and we have to be very strong and intelligent and understand there's no reality like that. We are not separate from Krishna. We can never be. And it's only, the rebelliousness towards Krishna. That means we continue our rebelliousness, we're just prolonging our jail term, some more beatings, some more treatment. Why do we want to remain in this jail? Karmastu hetu sukha dukha yoschet kim atmanastadhi jada jadatve dehastva achit purusho yam suparna krudhyeta kasmai nahi karma moolam. If we assume that fruitive work is the cause of happiness and distress, we still are not dealing with the soul. The idea of material work arises when there is a spiritual actor who's conscious and a material body that undergoes the transformation of happiness and distress as a reaction to such work. Since the body has no life, it cannot be the actual recipient of happiness and distress, nor can the soul, who's ultimately completely spiritual and aloof from the material body. Since karma thus has no ultimate basis in either the body or the soul, at whom can one become angry? So the material body is composed of earth, water, fire, air, and just like bricks, stones, and other objects. Our consciousness, falsely absorbed in the body, experiences happiness and distress, and fruitive work, karma, is performed when we falsely considered ourselves to be the enjoyers of the material world. False ego is thus the illusory combination within our minds of the self and the body, which are actually two separate objects. So, this is the hard knot. It talks about the hard knot in our, what is the hard knot in our heart? And that is where the false ego of the self and the body. The false ego, which identifies the self with the body, that is the hard knot of illusion. And we have to understand that these are two separate objects. Soul is different, body is different. Since karma or material work is based on illusory consciousness, these activities are also illusory and have no factual basis in either the body or the soul. When a conditioned soul falsely considers himself to be the body, And consequently, the enjoyer of the material world, he tries to find pleasure in illicit connection with women. Such sinful activity is based on his false concept of being the body, and thus the enjoyer of women and of the world. Since he is not the body, his activity of enjoying a woman does not actually exist. There is merely the interaction of two machines, namely two bodies, and the interaction of the illusory consciousness of man and woman. The sensation of illicit sex occurs within the material body and is falsely assimilated by the false ego as its own experience. Thus, the miserable or pleasurable reactions of karma ultimately act upon the false ego and not upon the body, which is composed of dull matter, nor upon the soul, which has nothing to do with matter. False ego is the illusory concoction of the mind. It is specifically this false ego that is suffering happiness and distress. The soul cannot become angry at others since he is not personally enjoying or suffering. Rather, the false ego is doing this. So, this is very clear thinking. He has really come to the end of he is going to be liberated. And by hearing this, it's very, very, I mean, sometimes we see other people acting in false ego. And then we also get tempted to be in a state of false ego, identifying and comparing and, following them, copying them because of false ego. We should only copy devotees, Vaishnavas, senior, exalted Vaishnavas, how we can be in that state of consciousness. But if you just watch ordinary people or materialistic devotees or whatever, not so advanced, then we will also start, okay, we'll start because we are by nature like that. We imitate or we easily get influenced. And that's why in our consciousness, we should be sure that I don't want to be in false ego. And we must recognize that false ego is the one which actually degrades us in so many ways, either temptations for to do sinful activities. It's okay. So many people are doing what's there, and it seems real. It seems so real, right? When you're in false ego, the material world seems so real. And to gratify your senses seems the real, absolute truth. That's what we are meant for. We're supposed to enjoy how many, just however long we are, let us enjoy. Who knows what's going to happen after my death? Just enjoy. This is the material consciousness. Those who are in false ego, those who are identifying with their body very much, this is what they think. They don't at all think, they're not at all sensitive to their spiritual existence at all. They only think body is the reality. Now, if we want to spiritual advancement and we look at them and we try to copy them also, I'll do Krishna consciousness also, but I'll also try to be like them because I want this also, that also. Then you're going to fall in a ditch because you'll become like them. It's very dangerous. Actually, devotees have to be very careful. This consciousness, devotees are also, so many devotees are also in their lives, if you see, they are also getting divorced. They are also, everybody heading to America. No need, why? You're getting a nice job here. Why should you go there? No, I have that. I want to go and study there. Why? Here also you have so many universities, and I know of a person, he's got a nice job here in the campus only. But then still thinking, no, I should do my postgraduate in America. Why? I mean, nothing wrong in studying, but they're not going for, because it completely puts you in a false ego place. Oh, in America, everything is false ego based on that, making yourself bigger and bigger and bigger and richer and richer and richer. So naturally, you'll completely go into that mode. Here in India also, you can be in Maya, but at least you have, this is a holy land. It's definitely, India is blessed in so many ways, and still we can There's wherever you turn, there is spiritual facility available. You can be reminded of Krishna. And so everybody is headed towards sense gratification without thinking, what is the goal in my life? No, no, I'll go there. I will also chant. I'll also visit once a week a temple and all that. And then I'll also be in Maya. Then they think I'm very Krishna conscious. That is, that is like very, very, very mild. Like, how Birbal's story is there, Akbar and Birbal. And he wanted to show Akbar something in which, what was the one thing? He was trying to give him a lesson, and then he put the cooking pot up and the fire below. Because Akbar said that anybody who can stay in the cold water with just moonlight, then he will reward something like that. So then Birbal wanted to show the foolishness by he's saying you're getting heat, no, from the light. So then he put the cooking pot right on top near the roof, and he put the fire there, and then he's saying, we'll cook. Just wait, my lord, I'm just cooking food for you. So that is how it is. Fire is far away, and then little bit, I'm just going one step near the fire. Why? Why should we waste our time? I mean, we can see um, this thing. I mean, what do you call the temporariness of this life? I mean, as it is 100 years only in Kali Yuga, that 100 years also, I don't know how much is really available for us. So wasting time, and in all, completely it takes us away, and then before long we'll have to change the body. So I mean, this is a reality. We must Bhagavatam is very, very strong and powerful, and it's meant to bring a revolution in our lives. It is not simply for studying it. Yeah, I also read Bhagavatam, but then I do whatever I feel like. It's not that. It has to bring a change in our consciousness, a change in our way of thinking, so that our life really becomes glorious. Imagine, we will have the support of all the acharyas in our line. They will all be blessing us and just waiting to elevate us and take us back, engage us in their service. So many things, wonderful things we can experience. Instead, just identifying with the body and doing, oh, they are all doing, no, all my friends in my college and or office, they're all doing. So why do you have to do that? You have to you have the truth. You have to give them the truth. People are ignorant, and we have to try and enlighten them. That is our duty. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Bharata Bhumi te janam janma huilan yara janma sartakari kara para upakara. That's the purpose of life. Why can't we be selfless? Why can't we follow Bhagavad Gita? And Krishna tells Arjuna, you have to do your duty without expecting any returns. So that is, I mean, this is Krishna's word. I mean, of course, in this age, not everybody may be able to follow that. Anyone who chants Hare Krishna can. But how many people are ready to chant Hare Krishna is the question. But anybody who chants Hare Krishna, starts chanting Hare Krishna mantra and following the four regulative principles and associates with devotees, can follow Krishna's instructions to do everything selflessly for the pleasure of Krishna. And just imagine how many wonderful things we can do. And we'll become glorious, because what remains permanent is our spiritual work, not a material work. He also lived, he also died. Who cares? After I'm dead and gone, nobody will say my life is not worth anything. Only the bones, the skeleton can be sold for the laboratory for some little few rupees. That's all. This person lived in vain and died and no use. On the other hand, we live a spiritual life that will be glorious. Everyone will remember, oh, Not that we want memory, we are far away, we won't even know they are remembering us. But we would have left something of worth to others. And that is our worth. When we use our body for getting something permanent value for ourselves and for others, then see how our life is so glorious. Kalastu hetu sukha dukha yos chet kim atmanas tatra tad atmakosau nagnirhi tapo na himsaya tatsyat krudhyeta kasmaina parasya dvandvam. If we accept time as the cause of happiness and distress, that experience still cannot apply to the spirit soul, since time is a manifestation of the Lord's spiritual potency, and the living entities are also expansion of the Lord's spiritual potency manifesting through time. Certainly, a fire does not burn its own flames or sparks, nor does the cold harm its own snowflakes or hail. In fact, the spirit soul is transcendental and beyond the experience of material happiness and distress. At whom, therefore, should one become angry? So he's saying that time, Krishna says, I am time in the seventh, no, time am I, have I come here? No, he says that in the 11th chapter when, Arjuna is so baffled by seeing the, this thing, the, what is that? The Vishwarupa, and all people are entering into his mouth and they're getting dashed and destroyed, and he's so disturbed and he says, what is this? What is this form? Who are you? He asks, who are you? Because he only knew him as Krishna, his dear friend. And then Vishwarupa, destructive form, he is very afraid and he says, time I am. I've come here to destroy everyone other than you, Pandavas. So Krishna is time. Time is the cause of happiness and distress. That experience still cannot apply to the spirit soul. Huh. So time cannot disturb soul because time is also spiritual. So why will spirit, the Lord's spiritual potency will not, destroy the Lord's. I mean, we are also expansions of the Lord's spiritual potency. And he's saying, just like a fire does not burn its own flames, so we will not be affected by time at all. That is why those who are liberated, they know past, present, and future, no time. They can see everything. And we don't even know what that means because we are so conditioned to thinking there is time, past, present, future, birth, death. But these are all material activities. Time is spiritual. And so a living entity who is liberated also is not affected by the time. In fact, the spirit soul is transcendental and beyond the experience of material happiness and distress. At whom, therefore, should one become angry? Purport. The material body is dull matter and does not experience happiness, distress, or anything else. Because the spirit soul is completely transcendental, he should fix his consciousness on the transcendental Lord who is beyond material happiness and distress. It is only when a transcendental consciousness falsely identifies with dull matter that the living entity imagines he is enjoying and suffering in the material world. This illusory identification of consciousness with matter is called false ego and is the cause of material existence. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only talked about false ego, nothing else. The lower levels are all not even, we don't even have to go through that. Because the Hare Krishna mantra is so strong, it will take us out of false ego and give us the relationship with Krishna. So he only talked about that, just become humble. That's the mother of all good qualities. By how do we become humble? By understanding Krishna is the Lord, the Master, and I am his servant. He is the enjoyer, and I am the enjoyed. I and he is the proprietor of everything, including me. He is the proprietor. and he's the enjoyer. And he's not going to, okay, he's the controller, he's the enjoyer, he's the master, so he's going to harass me and, just make me suffer. No, he's my best well-wishing friend. So then there is nothing to fear, everything to look forward to, the relationship, because in my surrender and service, that is the best thing that can happen to me, because Krishna is taking care of me and he loves me so much more than I can love myself. Krishna loves me. So that's why we should trust Krishna completely. We think we only love ourselves. I'm the best well wishing friend of myself because no one else can care for me or be interested in my well being rather than myself. No, Krishna loves us much more than we can even love ourselves. That's why we have to totally, Sharanagati means everything completely. Even the first thing, starting with the mind. Oh, mind. Why we listen to the mind? We have to tell the mind, you start listening to me. Okay. Now you surrender and only listen to the holy names. Then you start bossing over the mind and control it. Then the mind will keep quiet and listen. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We have that drama, no? Me and my mind. And so he tells the mind, shut up now, come, listen, sit next to me and chant. So we have to make the mind also chant with us, or rather hear with us. Mind, just listen. This is Krishna, and I'm going to connect with him, and that's it. You also do. Finished. Then the mind will listen to us like a servant. So that is our servant, one who has control over the mind and the senses. He's a Swami, he is the master. That is what we have to master over. Instead, we want to master over external things. We don't want to control our mind, but we want to control all other people, control the whole world, which is not possible, and we get frustrated. But the minute we control what we're supposed to control, then we'll be in bliss and free and can do anything with Krishna. By Krishna's mercy, we can do anything. That is freedom. Imagine we are engaged in this body, whereas actually soul can go everywhere. Sarvagata. Soul can go anywhere, everywhere. Material world, spiritual world, it's free. And imagine being put into this body and saying, you're this body, stay here. Think you're this body, be limited by wherever body can go in the human form. I mean, other bodies have got other um, powers in other planetary systems. But in the human being on the earth, whatever powers there is limited, we have to assume that's all I can do. Imagine how frustrating, and we have to work hard just to maintain this body and waste our life on a thing which is going to die soon. So instead, of course, not that we have to maintain the body, but we have to understand that Krishna's only, without Krishna's mercy, we can't even maintain our body. So let me chant first. All job, everything comes later. Okay. What food, hunger, thirst, everything comes later. All family members, wait. I have to first connect with Krishna, because from that only all good fortune comes. So why we may think, oh no, I have to really work hard, and oh, I have to be with my family and protect them. Simply if I say Hare Krishna, what will happen? No, everything you will be able to do only with Krishna's mercy. So first, Krishna, take shelter of him. And then don't give excuses. Oh, I was so busy, I can't chant. That is foolishness. Chant first, then do everything else. Then everything will be very blessed. We have to be fully convinced. Never stir out, never start the day without having chanted your rounds. Never. Full, complete. And other rounds afterwards throughout the day, do extra rounds. Not that you stop chanting, okay, only in the morning you're supposed to chant. Okay, I won't chant later. No. Morning, minimum rounds, everything finished. And throughout the day, keep chanting extra rounds whenever possible. Whenever, instead of just grabbing the mobile, oh, I have to wait here for someone, what to do? Mobile. Instead of that, grab your beads and start chanting. then you see how life will become so wonderful. That's what we should be aiming for. Life is short, and we have to keep, and we are very, very bottom of the rung of the ladder. We are somewhere in the bottom, and we have to climb a long way. So we shouldn't think I'm already devotee, I'm chanting 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, I'm eating only prasadam and all that, so I'll go back to Godhead. That is just fool's paradise. If we are thinking, we are very naive and very childish. If we think that simply doing these basic things, oh, I'm initiated also. So what? Initiation is just beginning. You're initiated means you're given a beginning. That's all. Not that we are already near somewhere near the end of the universe. The door is just got to open and we're out. No, we have long way to go. So we have to really try for that. Every day we must try. And Krishna, today I should experience a Krishna a little more than just my mind. All the time my mind is telling me something, listening to that. No, I'm not going to listen to the mind. I want to experience Krishna, because that is what is reality. Krishna is the only reality. And we are not seeing that. Imagine. We're not seeing Krishna is everywhere and we are not able to experience him. We must feel that. Why am I so dull? And every day we work towards moving one step higher towards that, so that I can become, real person. I can become a real, truthful, honest, genuine person. As long as I identify with my mind and body, I'm a fraud. To some different degrees of fraudness is there, because I'm identifying with my false ego, which is not the truth. Okay. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble message.
Please explain your businesses.
So, Mataji, this false ego experiences the material happiness and distress.
Yes.
Okay. So, happiness, so false ego basically does all the negative things, right? It does not do anything positive. So, even that case also, how it experiences happiness?
Through the body. Body is happy, I think I'm happy. Mind
Okay.
is happy, I get whatever sense gratification. Body is happy with sense gratification. No.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Krishna. Okay. Now, for only some things we'll pray. I have to go for some work. So we'll just chant for Guru Maharaj and a few special things. And then for everybody else, today I won't mention everyone's names. So we pray for His Holiness Jeptak Swami's complete recovery. And I hope Ayurveda also has its effect and he's completely cured soon. And he is not at all he doesn't have any, he's the example. No false ego, no suffering. He's always happy and peaceful. But his body should become okay so that he's able to move around much more. So we pray that he's completely cured. And we pray um, for all Prabhupada disciples and for all our devotees and their families, good health, well-being, longevity, protection from all diseases, and speedy recovery from all illnesses. And we pray for Modi ji's long life, that he should have at least 20 years more he should live and guide India. We need him so much. Yeah, Modi ji should be ruling, Guru Maharaj should be living, then super. It'll be a fantastic place. So let us also pray for Modi ji's long life and that he should be here to bless us. He should be there to lead the country. Okay, then we pray for rainfall in Karnataka and peace all over India, including Manipur, and peace all over the world, no war. So let us chant 3 times Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Actually, one Sri Vaishnava, this thing, a temple priest, I think, I saw in a video in Tamil, he was saying that all of you should pray every day for Modi ji's long life. He only said he should live at least 20 years more and lead. So I thought, yeah, we should pray for him every day. That's right. And then we pray, please pray for our center that very quickly everything gets done and we can move soon to the center. And we pray for Lingaraj Dham's success, nice successful preaching, and Srila Prabhupada Dham's successful preaching. And we pray for kids, Touchstone School and Kids in School should do very well. So let us chant 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And we pray for all some